I always wanted to go green. I like the idea of going green, and the cost savings, obviously. I wanted to do an analysis to see, I'm going to be in my house long term. I just bought the house. So one of the things I thought about when I bought the house was I'm going to be here long term. So I thought that solar power would make sense for me. I was looking around for a contractor, and I had looked at a couple of different contractors, and I happened to be talking to one of one of their current clients, and because I know that he had done the solar power, and I asked him, who his contractor was, and he referred me to Energy by Choice. I interviewed 2 or 3 contractors, and from the very beginning of the process, Sale came to my house, and I was very impressed with his knowledge, his professionalism, and the way he went about doing the initial analysis of my needs was far and away much better than in comparison with the other contractors that had come to see me. The initial evaluation, he really did a good job of really specifically, he got up on my roof the very first time he came, specifically looking at where my shadows would be and where I had obstructions, and then he did a real scientific analysis of how much power I could produce based on different types of systems and where I could put the panels and how many inverters he'd have to do, whereas other contractors really just took a snapshot of my roof off of Google Maps and said, we can just, here's the square footage we can use, and we could just throw in the panels. It was a much more, that to me was really the very first differentiating factor. It was a much more scientific way that I felt he was going about the analysis. The positive thing about the crew and the way they worked was that no matter how long it took them, every day when they left, it was as if they hadn't been there. They cleaned up the spot, the site. There was nothing left obstructing they were careful to keep things out of the way in my garage and the side of my house so that I didn't have to worry when I came home about having anything obstructing from the construction that was going on. I've had a lot of contractors since I recently bought the house, and I'd say this crew was one of the most professional and delivered very well on their promises, right down to, at the end of the job, there's always a little punch list of a few things that you want to have changed or, corrected or whatever, and they were, very responsive in getting that stuff done for me as well. They gave me a system also, that was another differentiating factor, is the way that system works in terms of being able to monitor what it's doing. There's 3 different ways I can monitor it. I can monitor it right there on the inverters, I can monitor it on a little monitor on the wall, or I can monitor it online at any time I want. Sale had explained that to me, that with this system, that was one of the advantages, is that I could see my production day by day. One of the biggest factors when you're going for solar, there's 2 factors in my mind, anyway, that I looked at, is A, the environmental impact, and B, the economical impact that it has on you. So obviously the environmental impact is going to be positive, but from a financial standpoint, because I'm going to be in my house long term, it made sense. I just think that, a few years ago we had a strain on the electric grid, and we had all this talk about, when blackouts come and things that happen. And my perspective is, if everybody on my block got solar that could get solar, that it made sense for, and we did that on a large scale basis, as they're doing in other countries, it would be great for our economy, it would be great for our system, our infrastructure. So is it a necessity? No, it hasn't become a necessity yet, but it may become a necessity. So I like to think that I'm ahead of the curve.